Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to, is tonight Friday? Wait a minute.
No,
It isn't
actually, I
Friday.
think so.
Very special Sports Unfolded NFL preview show. Season kicking off this Thursday. Baltimore, Kansas City. That's going to be a matchup right off the bat. We're going to break down some of the teams. We are Sports Unfolded, the best sports podcast on the planet. I am your host, Eric, the main man right over there. Ron, how are you? Kenny at some point may join us.
I'm fantastic, ready to go. This is going to be a good one.
This is. We're gonna go more of a quick hit this time. We do these every year. This is our fourth year running with an NFL preview show. A little bit different this time. We're gonna kind of go quick hits. If you are joining us live and want to kind of give your feedback on the teams or your picks for the Super Bowl, please let us know as we are going through, and we will definitely make sure those comments make it to the airwaves. We're excited. We're going to start off, Ron, in the NFC with the NFC East.
NFC East.
Some interesting teams here: the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, Washington Commanders, and Dallas Cowboys. Commanders, new coach, Dan Quinn, coming over from Dallas, so they're a little bit of interest there.
Yeah.
But let's start off with Philadelphia. A ton of talent here. Jalen Hurts. They add Saquon Barkley. We talked about the big pickup in free agency with the wide receivers.
Oh, of course. Like this team basically stacked themselves, right?
Loaded. One question, right? Sirianni. Right? That's going to be the difference maker here. Can Sirianni get this team back to the Super Bowl? Last year, a little bit of dysfunction. We saw a lot of issues with him and Jalen Hurts. If they can figure that out, look, they should be the favorites, especially in this division.
I mean, they get a team that should be able to compete for a Super Bowl.
I would think so. And we'll find out our picks at the end of the show, and we'll let you know if we think we're going to get there.
But they've got a solid defense. They've got that offense that we're not sure if anybody's going to be able to stop them or not, except for maybe themselves.
Yeah, agreed.
Can they get out of their own way? That's going to be the question. And is Dallas going to be able to compete with them?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Absolutely. What about the New York Giants, Ron? How do you feel?
No.
Daniel Jones. Brian Daboll on the hot seat here in New York.
Yeah. But is it his fault? He could be the scapegoat, but, is it his fault that this team is failing when they don't have a quarterback?
Yeah, look, he got strapped with, Daniel Jones. He owns them. So you sit back and wonder that part. You lose Saquon Barkley, who is probably your best offensive player. They pick up Malik Neighbors in the draft, so a little bit of excitement there on the wide receiver spot. But I think this team is in some serious trouble right now.
Because my headphones just cut out.
There we go. All right. Kenny's joined us. The big dog's in the house.
Kenny is here.
Big dog in the house. All right. So we're talking right now, New York Giants. No shot in the NFC East.
No, I think they actually might come in last.
Yeah.
So team they'd be competing with, probably the Washington Commanders. Obviously, new head coach, Dan Quinn. You get a rookie quarterback. coming in, Jaden Daniels. Like, how does this work? You lose some talent on the offensive side of the ball. We've got to assume defensively, though, they'll be better.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to, when you look at the situation that they were in last season. It's just a team that was just floundering around and really didn't have a good direction. At least Dan Quinn coming in can give them a direction. Let's focus on that defense. Let's give, our young players a chance to play, unlike some other places, and see what you can do. You still have a good target in McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. Yeah. I just don't think. I think, to your point, them and the Giants will definitely be fighting it out for that last spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at least they have a direction now. I'm not so sure the Giants have a direction. I mean, you think about how bad they were last season with Barkley, Saquon Barkley, just piling up numbers. And now you take that away. Now, Daniel Jones has nowhere to hide. Nowhere.
Yeah,
He's
right.
gonna be
Offensive
much
line was
worse this
horrible.
season.
Yeah.
He's set up to fail.
Yeah.
He's set up to fail.
So, what about the Dallas Cowboys here, gentlemen? Just signed CD Lamb, so they got that in the books. But this Dak Prescott thing and the contract extension, does this haunt this team? Does this, in my mind, I said it, maybe makes Dak play even harder because now it gives him more incentive to get paid even more money? How does this work for Dallas? Can they compete with Philly?
Look, the regular season hasn't been a problem. Regular season hasn't been a problem. So I don't doubt that they're going to have a good season. I don't doubt that. It's what you're going to do in the playoffs. That's what it's all about. And they do nothing in the playoffs. And I hate to tell you this, it's going to be more of the same.
I think you're right. Kenny, any opinion on Dak? Will they get a deal done, or do you think he just plays out the season?
I think he just plays out the season. He just has to stay healthy. That ankle has been bothering him lately, so he's been sitting out of preseason games. But he just has to stay healthy, and he'll get it done. He'll get it done.
We'll get it done. NFC East in the books, gentlemen. That's how quick we're going to go through these tonight. Let's talk NFC North. Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and the Detroit Lions. This should be a very fun division.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
It is. We're gonna start off with Chicago. Obviously, Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback, but they brought a ton of talent in Chicago to try to support him. Can he make a big enough impact to get this team respectable again? Possibly a playoff position?
See, the only problem I have with this is they brought all these players in for him, but they didn't bring him in for Fields. And I still like Fields as a quarterback. Yeah. I do. And I thought he did very well considering he had nothing, to go with him, on either side of the ball, really, when you think about it. Wasn't he something like 50% of the offense or something? I mean, they didn't do anything for him. And then here they are, they're going to put all their stock into getting players for Caleb Williams when you didn't do it in the first place. And how respectable do you want them to be? 4, 5, 6 wins?
Yeah, I think it'd be tough because of the division they're in. Yeah, the division they're in. Right. Look at Detroit's going to be a powerhouse. Right. We expect that. Green Bay, you think about how far they've come. Minnesota's the question mark now because obviously the quarterback play and them losing J.J. McCarthy. But I think that's what hurt Chicago is the division they're in.
Yeah.
That's 6
Right.
tough games.
I mean, they're going to go 0-4 just with Green Bay and Detroit. They're going 0-4.
Yeah.
And then now, okay, so what? You're going to get one win out of the Minnesota games? You're not going to make it up anywhere else. You're just not going to make it up.
Kenny, Caleb Williams to be a success this season. How many wins for the Chicago Bears?
7.
7. Anything over 7, you think success?
Yes. Anything over 7 success. Only thing is, like Ron said, they brought all these weapons in for him, and I don't think he got enough reps in the preseason.
Yeah, this
I don't
new
think he had
NFL
enough
era
reps in the
though, right?
preseason.
These guys don't play in the preseason.
Yeah.
That's the
So
thing, man.
yeah, I mean, practice is a practice, but preseason is almost like.
Go ahead, Ron. I know you want to do the Allen Iverson. I saw it in your face. I saw it in your face as soon as he said it. Like you
I'm
could
not
see
gonna
it was
do it.
coming.
Not gonna do
Practice.
it. Not gonna do
We're talking
Practice.
about a game, not a game.
Keep talking
Not a
about
game.
Practice.
Not a game.
Practice.
We're talking about practice. No, I agree with you.
Playoffs.
What about the Minnesota Vikings, gentlemen? So
This
obviously
is an
a lot of
interesting team.
yeah, right. A lot of stock put into JJ McCarthy. It looked like this kid, his one preseason game, we were like, might be all right. They might be okay. Justin Jefferson, fully healthy, back, right? Probably the best wide receiver in the league. You start to look around, you're like, all right, Minnesota, not bad. And then the injury. And now Sam
Yeah.
Donaldson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot. He's still, if you can throw the ball anywhere near Justin Jefferson, he might be able to get.
Or Sam
You know what I'm
Donald.
saying?
I said Sam Donaldson.
Yeah, not the news anchor.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
the news anchor. We don't want.
Yeah.
Again, luck of the draw here. Again, tough division. They're going to be fighting, so to me, them in Chicago are going to be that interesting team. Which team can do a little bit more to at least be in that third spot? Because I don't think either one of these teams finish above 3.
No, there's no way. There's no way. I think the other two teams just going to roll through Minnesota and Chicago. I think that's the inevitable thing. I mean, it would be different if McCarthy was in there for Minnesota. Then you might think, hey, maybe Minnesota, if they can put it together on defense and get some offense going, you might have a shot there. Even catching somebody.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
No, definitely not now.
All right. So what about the Green Bay Packers, gentlemen? How do we feel? Is this for real? Jordan Love for real? I got to ask that question first and foremost.
Well, I'd love to find out.
Me too.
Ken, no? Yeah, Kenny, come on.
Me
No,
too.
but
Me too.
Look, when you look at this, I mean, I think what you saw from him last year is what you're going to get. I don't think he's going to get any better than that. I think he's at his ceiling now.
Is he a
he's been in the
quarterback that
league
can win
now
a
5
division?
years.
Can he win a division? With his
He
9-game
He
stretch
might be able to.
last year, that 9-game stretch was probably one of the best quarterback play we've seen ever in history of the NFL. Like, it was that good.
Yeah. And look what you saw.
Can you
in the
get 17
playoffs,
games
right?
of that?
No.
I mean, he might be able to win some playoff games this year.
Kenny's over here doing Eminem, Lil Wayne.
No.
No love.
No. Not at all.
No love for the Packers.
Not
Matt
at all.
LaFleur,
Not
very
at all.
underrated coach. If you think about what he's done and what they do in Green Bay, we're seeing it here in New England. They don't really pick up free agents. They draft and they try to
They also
build
don't
these guys
keep
up.
their players either.
But listen, young wide receiver group, all no names, right? They're doing it. They picked up the dude from the Raiders. Who's the running back? Jacobs, right?
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
again,
Good pickup.
I don't know how I feel about this team. If they can play well defensively, I think Love gives them a really good chance of winning this division.
They got a shot at it. If you get what you get, what you got out of Love last season, you're adding Jacobs, and I think Jacobs is a pretty good running back, and he's going to help relieve some of that pressure on him because now you're going to have to respect that running game. And I, you never know because, like I said, I'm not sold on Goff. I think he had a great season last year. Great. Let's see if you can duplicate that. I'm not so sure Detroit can duplicate it. I mean, I'm expecting them to, but Green Bay could sneak up on them.
Packers tied for fourth in toughest strength of schedule, though. So we'll have to see how that may hurt them as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
You know what, Ron? We're not even going to talk. We're going to let Kenny talk first. Let's talk about these Detroit Lions, Kenny.
Let's go, Detroit! Super Bowl bound, baby!
Wow. Wow. So I got a question. I really like the Lions. I do.
Thank you.
I love what they did last year.
Thank you.
They are loaded offensively. I think they
Mhm.
kept their entire coaching staff. I think defensively, they made some improvements. So you look at it and you say, okay, what's the one issue? Dan Campbell, can he learn from the mistake last year in take the points when you get points? This is the NFL.
Yeah.
You give teams more opportunities to score than they need to, they're going to score on. He's the only issue I have with the Detroit Lions. I don't know if he can ever get out of it.
This is like a common theme, right? We've already talked about Dallas, and their coaching is the problem. Philadelphia is a question mark, right? Here we are again. We're talking about this again with good teams that just can't seem to get it done in the playoffs. And it's because of stupidity, to be honest with you. Like, when you give away points, that's a big mistake because you don't know if you're going to get into that position again to score more, especially in the playoffs when you have great defensive teams. This team has to be able to stop offenses at big moments, and you can't give away your points. Can't give it away. And that could cost them in the playoffs again.
Right.
Because I think Dan Campbell is too emotional.
Yeah. He listen, went for it more times than any other coach in the NFL, right? And on fourth down.
Yeah.
And then I heard a quote the other day from one of the players saying that they automatically know based on the play call on third down if they're going to go for it on fourth.
Right.
Like, it's that predictable with that team. And I think Dan Campbell needs to say, A, have some faith in your defense.
Yeah.
Or B, say, hey, look, what makes the most sense right now? Do I go up 17 or do I try to get a first down and then possibly, only be up 7? That's a 10-point swing. I hope he learned from last year because I think you're right, Kenny, on this aspect. And I know we made fun of you a couple times about this. I think they can go to the Super Bowl. I really do. They have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
But then Ron's right, too. If the emotion takes over and he makes these decisions that ultimately cost his team points, they're not going. And that's going to be the interesting story all season with the Detroit Lions, because I don't think, as long as obviously health on all these teams, but you keep
you get a couple of injuries. That's
anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
But if they stay healthy enough, absolutely have just as much talent as some of these other teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Their coach has to be the reason.
I mean, I look at the NFC, and last year it was really about Philly, Dallas, San Francisco. I'm trying to think of Detroit. I think that's it, right?
Those were
So,
probably the
and
big
here we
hitters.
are again. Yeah, and we're in the same situation.
Yeah, very
So
similar.
you know they're going to be in this, and so it's up to Dan Campbell not to lose it.
Yeah.
Really,
He needs one of those guys in the booth that like does the percentages or something. Like if you don't make
What-
it, this is what's going to happen.
unfortunately,
know.
I think he served his purpose as head coach.
Yeah.
I think to put them over the top, they need a
They might
coach
need
that can.
Yeah, you might be right. A more X's and O guy. He
Yeah.
got the emotion,
He got the culture,
right? Like he created that.
The
Yeah.
emotion, the culture. He brought that, and I'll
Hell
tell
of a
you,
job.
any team that needs a coach like that to get them out of the bottom,
New England.
he's a guy that you go and hire to do that, to
Right.
get that culture
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carolina.
No, great point. All right, let's talk NFC South. Good segue, Ron. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panthers, and the Atlanta Falcons. Let's start off in Tampa Bay. Obviously, the division winner last year. Can Baker go round 2 now of another solid season? I don't know how I feel about this team. I'm not picking them to win this division.
Me neither.
I'm not either.
Me neither.
Right? Take a
Not
step
either.
back. You start to
But
look
I
at
think
it.
they're going to have a winning record.
Yeah.
9-8 kind of.
Yeah,
winning
and
record,
I
but
don't think
not-
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you there.
I agree too.
You know, I think Baker proved that he can be a starter. Right now, he's got to prove that he can be a winner. If that makes any sense, and I think, I mean, he's not up at the top of the league in quarterbacks, but he's not at the bottom either. He's somewhere in that middle ground
Mhm.
where a team that doesn't have a quarterback could really use somebody like him.
They
know?
benefited last year from the fact that this division absolute is trash,
Stunk.
right? So Baker, to your point, Ron, middle of the ground quarterback, but he's still better than anything else that's in this division. That's changed.
That's changed, right?
So now you start to look at it. Okay,
He's not better than Cousins.
yeah, and I will say this: I am not a big fan of Todd Bowles. I think he's an okay coach, but it's very similar to some of these other coaches we talk about sometimes. That I think he's good enough to get you 9 wins. I don't know if he's good enough to do more than that.
No.
Right.
So-
and you know, it's, and you look at that, it's across the league. I'm sorry, just the coaching is just kind of terrible.
A lot of bad
it's
coaches.
not terrible, but it's a lot of average coaches. You know, we're not seeing those guys. You know, like Mike Tomlin. You got to give him credit where credit is due. Right? He keeps that team winning no matter what. You know, and they've lost a lot of players throughout history. And here we are, we're talking about Tampa Bay that has some talent. You know, and you wonder why it's kind of being wasted right now. It's almost like the players don't care because they won with Tom, and now they don't really care.
Yeah.
It might
James,
be
thanks for
time to,
joining.
like, pick this. It might be time to pick this team apart, to be honest with you, and then you got to figure out what you're going to do with Baker Mayfield if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Let's talk New Orleans Saints here.
Yeah. Why?
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, Dennis Allen, probably one of the worst coaches in the league. I think his record over the last 3 since he's been a coach has been one of the bottom of the barrel.
Here we are.
What do they have? What are we looking at in New Orleans?
3 wins.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at.
I think the paper bag is gonna
This
come
is-
back.
This is not the team they used to be. You know, a team that goes to the playoffs and loses because of a bad call.
Yeah.
And they can never recover, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
I'm gonna channel my inner Rick Pitino. Drew Brees ain't walking through that door. So I don't know. I mean, I disagree with James. I don't think they're a dark horse in this division because you still got Tampa Bay, who's going to be competitive. And then I think we're probably all going to be in agreement on the Atlanta Falcons and what they're probably going to be able to do. So
Yeah.
in except the Texans, who are not in that division.
Yeah, the Texans are not in that
NFC
division.
South. James, a cup of bourbon in the hand. We appreciate that.
I wish you would have saved me some.
Yeah, right. We all need it. We all need
do.
it. So Saints, pretty much a wash. We don't expect much from them. Could be a top 5 team picking in the draft next year. Right? Wrong South. Very good, James. All right, let's talk.
Certainly contend.
Yes, let's talk Carolina Panthers. New head coach Dave Canales.
Like they said, New Orleans are going to contend for the first pick with Carolina.
Bryce Young. Is this kid like? Is this a dud? Like, did we get a lemon of a pick here, or do you think he can figure it out and get better? Can Canales help him do that? Was it just bad management based on what we saw last year, or is this who he is?
Well, for his sake, you better hope so, because if not, he's going to be sitting the bench, at some point. Boy, that would really devastate this franchise, right? If Bryce Young turns out to be nothing. And we've seen it. We've seen it many times. Russell for the Raiders. We've seen it a lot. Look at all the quarterbacks that have failed in the last, decade.
Yeah.
That came out first round.
I was trying to figure out. So I just looked up the depth chart. Red Rocket, though, their backup. Andy Dalton.
Ooh, the redhead.
Let's go. Wouldn't it be better just not to play a quarterback? Imagine no shotgun snaps. We're not even going to play a quarterback. We're just going to flip it back there and see if hopefully something happens.
Yeah.
What is that?
Look,
wow.
If they start out 0-3, there's going to be some rumblings.
Yeah, they're
rumblings.
Oh yeah.
And I liked some of their picks last year. Like they picked up Adam Thielen, but again, at the end of his career, they really don't have much. They just don't. Yeah, so I think the Panthers, again, you got to hope that defensively they're okay, but I think it's all going to depend on what Bryce Young does there. Do I expect him to be better? No, but you need to see some progression in his career or you're going to be in trouble. Like, to your point, they're starting all over from scratch again afterwards.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
so let's talk Atlanta. The Falcons. Yeah. Kirk Cousins.
I love what this team has done.
Me too.
I mean, look, they sold their season tickets faster than any time in like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Sold out. The fans really are looking forward to this season for Atlanta, and they should be, because this team is going to be so much better. I don't see them losing to anybody in their division. So if you can start out 6-0, that's a good start.
Yeah, Raheem Morris, though, we've got to at least take into account coaching.
Yes, right.
Where this was a Bill Belichick destination. No, give me Bill Belichick, Kirk Cousins, that offensive talent, a solid defense. Now I'm like, wait, whoa, Raheem Morris, that's probably two less wins.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion on that one. But go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I mean, look, that's something that we have to consider, right? It's all these things, but the division is so bad that the talent of this team may just be enough to get all those wins in this division, because this division is not good. You might split with Tampa Bay, but you're going to roll over the other two. Like, they're not going to pose any threat because, first of all, this team improved their defense so much just with two guys. Just those two guys alone improved so much. They're going to have a much better pass rush. So they're going to be on some of these teams. And then, I mean, you got Kirk Cousins. He's going to improve that offense just because of that.
Right. We look at the quarterback play, to your point, Ron. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, we expect more out of. And then Robinson, Bijan Robinson, I'm sorry, was one of those picks that we kind of questioned, but we know the kid's talented.
Yeah.
They needed a quarterback that could kind of make the defense worry a little bit about the pass to the run, and then what he's able to do in the passing game. I disagree. Me and James are arguing a lot tonight because I disagree with James. I don't think
I
this
don't
team.
see them going 9-8.
I agree with Ron. If they give up one, they're 5-1 before they even start playing any of the other games.
Right.
Maybe they split with Tampa. Maybe.
Right. Maybe.
They beat New Orleans twice.
Maybe.
They beat Carolina twice for sure.
Right.
And then you're going into this thing saying, okay, Kirk Cousins gets criticized because he hasn't won in the playoffs. He's a good regular season quarterback. He's going to make them better. Just that's 5 more wins probably than they had last year, just based on the fact that Kirk Cousins is there.
And if you can go 6-5 with the rest of the league, you're making the playoffs and you're going to win your division. Because nobody's had more than 9 wins in the last 5 years since Brady was there.
And even Brady, like the last year, what they win the division 7-9, where Brady won it, like that division's horrible.
So look, I find it hard to believe that the players that they have in that locker room are going to lose 8 games in this season with what they have on their roster.
Raheem Morris. Let's keep an eye on that.
Right.
NFC West, gentlemen. Let's start off with the Los Angeles Rams. Already got some injury, right? Stafford kind of banged up already. That's concerning. You lose Aaron Donald, who's your rock on defense.
Yep.
Still got some talent though on this team.
What's the injury for Stafford?
I don't think it's anything serious. I think it was a minor injury. Nothing crazy.
No.
I'm looking it up while you guys talk about the Rams. Go ahead.
Well, I still like the dynamics of this team for the most part. I mean, you don't have like the big names on defense, but you still have a pretty decent defense, and you still have Stafford, the Cup, and they got some other guys on that offense that can really do some damage and keep defenses honest, to be honest with you.
Kenny?
Stafford's best years are behind them, though. Yes, absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah, he's been around. He's long in the tooth.
Yeah. He's still a good quarterback. He's still a good quarterback.
He is good.
Quarterback. Yeah, not great quarterback. He's still a good quarterback.
Yeah. No, and if you look in that division, I mean, you have Purdy, and I won't say it.
Hamstring.
Is he better than the quarterbacks on Seattle and
Hamstring.
Arizona? First of all, Arizona doesn't have any talent, so.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I never liked Murray as a quarterback, and I still don't. I think he's
tough division.
an overpaid backup.
Yeah. So James right. Tough division. Matthew, it's a hamstring injury. Nothing where it's going to keep him out. But again, this is a good division. I mean, other than Arizona, who you could probably say, I mean, Seattle's a competitive team. They may not be a barn burner where you sit back and go, wow. And then obviously the 49ers. I think the Rams are okay. I'm not the possible playoff team in my book.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Cup, Puka Nacua, right? Yeah. Last year, rookie of the year. Like that kid, like they've got some talent.
Right. This is what I'm saying. It's like they're just not household names, but they have some skill. They have a lot of skilled players, and I think because of the fact that Seattle is going to be going through a change, head coach, there's different feel in the locker room. We don't know um, really the status for their quarterback. I mean, is he going to end up keeping that job or is he going to end up losing it? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of question marks on how well Seattle comes out of the gate. Seattle comes out of the gate, and they say they go 2-2 at the beginning of the season, which is very possible, which is where I have them. I don't see them pushing enough, and that's where the Rams can take advantage of this.
Yeah, right. Mike McDonald, brand new coach in Seattle. Pete Carroll, like you think about, we talk about New England, Pete Carroll too. What he was able to do in Seattle, he kept them competitive every year.
Yep, true.
And I'd love to say that I believe that Geno Smith has just figured it out and is going to continue to be a solid quarterback. But we've also seen the bad side of him. And I'm not sure you're going to continue to get the best Geno
that's
Smith.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to hold on to that job with a new head coach? Things are going to be a little different. It might not be plays that are geared towards Geno Smith's abilities. When you had Pete Carroll, who's very experienced coach.
I will say though, Sam Howell, the backup quarterback. So I don't. Yeesh. I think he's got the job this year. I don't know.
I'm not sure he has it all the way because Sam Howell had some flashes.
He did. He did. I will give you that.
Flashes.
I think we covered the Rams in Seattle in like a twofold there. Very good.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
That was pretty good.
1.
So let's talk 49ers.
Yeah. The question is whether or not they can recover from last year's loss. We know losing the Super Bowl, you don't go back the next year.
It's very rare.
Very
extremely rare. And in the first time a quarterback loses his first Super Bowl, they've never won a Super Bowl again.
Right.
So we know the talent's there. Right? Just got the Brandon Ayuk deal done. So wide receiver Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, by far the best offensive player in the league. Brock Purdy, Trent Williams, biggest key.
Yeah. Look, this team, if they suffer injuries, they don't have depth. After their starters, and they got their starters, great. But you start getting injuries to those starters, and that does not bode well for this team because their backups are not good.
Agreed. But I will say this too, right? You look at their starters are probably some of the top starters in every position, which is scary too to think about because even defensively, Bosa is probably one of the best defensive ends in the league.
Yes.
So like defensively, they're stacked. Offensively, they're stacked.
Yeah.
I think James hit this on the head. Brock Purdy really is playing for a contract now.
Yeah.
It's at that point where, listen, these guys are all asking for more money every year, even when they still got a 2-year deal, 3-year deal left down the road. He gets San Francisco back to a Super Bowl. He's getting paid. That's a lot of pressure on a player, though, too.
We thought that about Garoppolo, right?
Yeah, different scenario, though. I think different scenario.
Is it different?
Yes, I think so. Because Brock's not paid right now. San Francisco's able to keep all these players because your quarterback is a 7th round, last pick in the draft.
Right.
He's making no money.
Right.
You don't think he wants to get paid?
To payday time, yes, but is he going to get paid by San Francisco?
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's why he made, for him, the pressure's on. Like he needs to win, which may help him in the 49ers. May help them.
Yeah, I mean, this year it may help.
After that, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Look,
And we still got
I
a
mean,
question.
We saw how they handled Garoppolo, and now they have Purdy doing, the same thing. He's bringing them there, he's getting them there, but they just don't have enough. And at some point, something's got to give.
Kyle Shanahan. We all think he's such a great coach, but in those big moments, he lost the game for them last year.
Yeah.
That overtime call,
Yeah.
and not understanding the overtime rules killed that team, because they would have
Yeah.
beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that'll be
I
something
remember yelling
interesting
at
to
the
see,
TV.
right? Like, take the ball, score first, put the pressure on. Yeah, no reason for this team not to win it, James. You're right. Last team in the division, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Okay.
Kyler Murray back, fully healthy. Marvin Harrison Jr., who, again, I still think New England should have drafted and got Russell Wilson,
Yes.
and we all talked about that many times.
Yep.
So, I mean, are they building something possibly to be competitive? Is Kyler Murray the answer in Arizona, I guess, is my question.
But I mean, you look at this. Look, I have a problem with Arizona, and my problem is, they'll go out one year and just buy everybody, and then most of those guys are like a walking mash unit. Watt is no different, right, than what they do, and they hope that they have great years and they put it all together. And then when it fails, they just decimate the team, get rid of everybody, and they try it again a couple of years later. This is where we're at. So this year is their year to figure out what they need, and then next season they're going to go out and buy all these guys that are always hurt and then try it again. This is what they do. And it's no different than the last 10, 15 years for this team. They're never happy with what some of the players are, so they just keep shuffling them in and out. And you can't get any stability when you keep doing that.
Yeah, they got to build. They got to build around Kyler. Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, they lack identity. That's basically they lack identity because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. Look, we think he's talented enough to win games. I like the Marvin Harrison Jr. pick. I think that might help him. James Conner, a decent running back. How they build the offensive line is going to be important, right? How they defensively continue to try to add more pieces. I agree. I think they're going to be a better team this year than they were last year, as long as Kyler Murray stays healthy. Yeah, well, Kyler Murray's got to stay healthy too, right? That's important. All right, gents, that is the NFC. We're going to move on to the AFC. We're going to talk about a very interesting division to start off. This AFC East. What a competitive division this should be. Well, on that note,
come on.
I think you're very competitive. Let's talk the New York Jets. All my Jets fans out there.
Giving this division credit enough, to be honest with you. I don't think you're giving it credit enough. There's three teams that could do some damage. We'll just say that.
Stop.
3 teams.
Jets be one of them?
No, the Pats are not one of them.
The Jets.
Oh, the Jets are one of them. They can do some damage.
Right? The 3 competitive teams, James said it. I like the Jets, but I'm also, you're counting on a 41-year-old quarterback.
Thank you.
Coming off an injury that people just seem to think all of a sudden he's going to be the same quarterback as he was 10 years ago. He's created a lot of chaos in New York.
Yes, he has.
And people try to compare this Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, look what Tom did in Tampa Bay. Tom went to Tampa Bay. Yes, he had fun. They were talking about, but he was still that team player, the guy that was going to rally the troops and get them to play hard. Aaron Rodgers is kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah.
where he's going to stir the pot. He's going to try to, call people out or call the coaching staff out. I don't know how long this lasts because they've got a lot of young talent.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
that's what you got to look at, though. I mean, look, they have some skill on offense, running back, wide receivers, some talented players, right? Defense, guard. They have a lot of good, talented defensive players. Their defense was one of their bright spots last year. In a year that you had to have Wilson starting for you because Ron jinxed Aaron Rodgers off the top, right? So
Yep.
now you have Aaron Rodgers going in. If he's even half as good as Aaron Rodgers of 2-3 years ago, he's going to get them in a position to get to the playoffs.
I agree.
Because they were, look, how many close games did they lose because they just couldn't score? I don't think that's going to be a problem this year.
Yeah. Listen, I love their offense. Garrett Williams, Breece Hall. I like what they have on offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can Robert Saleh keep it all together? Because he's going to have to play a little bit of this, guru to the
He's going to earn his money having to coach Rodgers.
Yeah. What was the Mike Myers movie? The Love Guru, right? Where you have to try to get every right. He's going to have to try to get them all to love each other and get along.
Good.
Right. I don't know.
And sing Kumbaya. Yeah.
Right. Hold hands. Maybe a couple
He's going to do his best, Phil Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Just keep them
going.
Here's a team that's very interesting to me. I'm going to go out on a limb already and say I'm picking them as the division winner. The Miami Dolphins. Believe it or not, gentlemen, hear me out. Tua healthy has proven that he's a legitimate quarterback because of the talent around him.
Sure.
They added OBJ, right? Won't play for the first 4 weeks, but you really don't need him at the beginning of the year. I'm not saying they're winning it all. But I think they by far will be the division winner in this AFC East because of what Buffalo lost. We're not talking about all the talent Buffalo lost and the dysfunction in New York, where that gives Miami a free ride to win this division. I guess they're speechless.
No, look, I like it, but here's the problem I have. Was Tua healthy last year?
Yes.
Was he healthy the year before?
No.
Was he healthy the year before that?
No.
There's a pattern here. I'm not so sure he can stay healthy every year. I'm not so sure he can stay healthy more than once.
If he does, they have to be the favorites in this division. I'm banking on the guy playing more than 14 games.
I gotta agree with you, Cotton. Who's Cotton?
That's from the Ocho, ESPN dodgeball. Cotton.
I think they're gonna win this one. Okay.
Cotton. There we go, baby. We got a dodgeball reference in the house.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. That's a bold strategy. But listen, to a healthy Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, OBJ, I love that. That is an exciting offense. Go ahead, Kenny.
The only problem is with Tua, he's a good quarterback, but when he tries to do too much, he gets in trouble. Okay.
He learned last year, don't you not think?
I don't think so. I don't think he has learned. When he tries to do too much, that's when he gets in trouble.
Okay. we're gonna talk Buffalo next. But let me ask you this before we move on to Buffalo. There's 3 legitimate quarterbacks in this division. We're not counting Brissett, and if either one of you say Brissett, I will leave the show.
Oh, Milton.
Yeah, Joe Milton, right? But Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tua. How do you rank the 3 of them?
I rank Josh Allen as number 1 in this.
Okay. Now remember, we're barring all injuries from all 3 players. Who's your second best quarterback? You don't want to say it, but you know where I'm going. It's Tua.
Yeah.
It is Tua.
Right? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is probably the best quarterback, but now Josh Allen loses his security blanket. Diggs is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Defensively, they lost all their top starters.
I can dig it.
Yeah. Can you dig it?
Yes, you can.
There we go. So that's why I'm saying everybody's going to sleep on Miami because we just assume it's the
I'm not.
Dolphins.
I have them winning the division. I just didn't want to say it before
right, and
the
that's what I'm
prediction
saying.
Time.
That's fine. We're still going to go through that, and it's okay. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I'm just saying they're a legitimate contender.
Yeah, they are.
All right, let's talk Buffalo, gentlemen.
I still like this team.
A lot of change, though.
It is, but I still trust in Josh Allen's ability to do what he needs to do. Because I'll tell you, out of all the quarterbacks in the league, there's only 2 quarterbacks that I see that can make something happen. Out of a game that is just clearly not going their way, and that is Mahomes and Allen. I think those players are just so special this past few seasons that you can see Josh Allen, the desire to win. He just hasn't had a whole lot of greatness surrounding him, and frankly, I don't care if Diggs is gone from this team because he has too many drops in key moments. So that might actually be a blessing in disguise. Maybe for their talent, level, it isn't as good as what Diggs is, obviously, because Diggs is a great receiver, right? But in big moments, Diggs doesn't show up. Allen does show up. He does show up in big moments, and he can make things happen. And I will not count them out just because a player like Diggs is not there. I think he's still going to be able to find the receivers, and I think this team is going to be better than what you think they are.
Okay, Kenny, I know you had something. No, nothing on Buffalo.
Nothing Buffalo.
All right, I'm gonna disagree with Ron on a couple of things. Like right now, DeMar Hamlin is there starting. He's questionable. Like there's all defensively that there's so many guys that possibly could be out. And I think Diggs just made Allen that much better. Without him, I'm not too convinced on that receiving group. But again, still talent. But Dan Marino had talent every year too. Guess what? He never won anything.
No.
Right? Like Josh Allen to me seems like he's going to be that kind of quarterback.
I don't feel Josh Allen can win a Super Bowl in Buffalo.
Yeah, agreed. This team is a shadow of themselves. Yep, great call. Let's talk. This is a 3-team division, gentlemen. So we're just going to skip the 4th team and move on to
hopefully, the Patriots, switch quarterbacks after one game. They go to May. May wins 3 in a row, and then trade deadline. We trade May for Josh Allen.
Yeah, whatever. I will say this. I absolutely hate this team. I think this is by far the worst run organization right now in football. I'm not sold on Mayo. Gerard Mayo to me is absolutely horrible. Everything he said has been a joke. And now you're starting a guy who's 18-30 lifetime as a quarterback. Really telling the fans that you're trying to win games. I appreciate that. So the Patriots playing draft picks. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Eric,
go ahead, Kenny.
I'm glad you said that.
Thank you, sir.
I am glad you said that.
It's an awful team.
I'm a Patriot. I'm a diehard. This isn't me like I've been fan before Brady. We all have. Like this is us talking from strictly as a Patriot fan. They are the worst team. Listen, it's them in Carolina as the two worst franchises in the league this year. And all they keep doing is telling us all these guys that we're going to play this kid because we got a plan and we got this going and we're going to.
The Giants might be one of those teams.
Yeah, but I'd put the Giants ahead of both of those teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
Or anything but 3-14. Kenny.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're correct. You're correct.
Yeah, if you give them more than 3 wins, Kenny.
No.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go on a limb.
No.
Maybe they'll squeeze out 5.
Squeeze out what? Out of where?
I don't know.
We're a family-friendly show.
No, maybe they'll beat Cincinnati in week 1, like somebody said to me. Oh, all they have to do is just win in Cincinnati, and then they're set for the year because then they'll get the momentum. I ain't going into Cincinnati and winning.
Has anybody seen Jacoby Brissett play?
It's so ridiculous.
If anybody's seen they're horrible. Anyway, let's talk AFC North because this is a real division. Go ahead, Kenny.
So, Eric, you'll get question B, and Ron will get question A.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Is there a question? Or you just...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Finish. Go ahead, finish. No, finish. Go ahead, finish.
We're moving on to AFC North. You got something about the Pats?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay. All right, Eric. This is for you.
Question B. I got B.
Question B. You got B. 23 years ago, 23 years, Bill Belichick has coached the Patriots, right? 23 years. Okay, right. In all those 23 years, he has never allowed a team captain to wear the C on his jersey.
Mm-hmm. Jerome Mayo changes in New England. Holy cow. We won. Yeah, we won 4 games last year. I expect to win 10 games this year because the guys are wearing C's on their jersey. That's your change?
Wait, who's the captains?
That's your change? He forgot to even name Ron. You don't even want to know.
Been there long enough to be named
Dietrich Wise, Dave Andrews, Jabril Peppers. Like these are the cap. Ron, during the press conference, though, the best part of this is during the press conference, he forgot to mention Brissett. So a reporter was like, oh, seeing that Jacoby Brissett is not a captain, does this mean? And he's like, oh, I forgot to mention Jacoby Brissett. He doesn't even know who his captains are. And then his big thing is, oh, well, we're changing some things this year. They're going to wear a C on their jersey. I don't give a crap. That's what the C stands for, is crap. And you want to put it on a jersey? Like, I really care if it wins you 2 games this year. Wow, but that C looked great. Hey, let's look at Jacoby Brissett on the bench with the C on his jersey. That makes me feel better. Holy crap. That's what I got. We're moving. Question A for Ron. Go ahead.
So what you're saying is it's not going to make a difference?
I think you got the point. Yeah, Kenny, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Freaking C on the jersey.
They actually had captains to name.
Every team gets captain. My point is this, Ron. Who cares if they wear a C? For the last 23 years, they didn't wear a C. You knew Tom Brady was a captain. He didn't need a C on the jersey. It didn't help him win more games. But yet this year, it's going to be different in New England. This guy's
It's the Mayo era.
Yeah, the Mayo. I'm going to give him Mayo. Go. Yeah. Question A. We got to get on with this show.
Woo! Okay, all right. You ready? You ready, Ron?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, in an interview a couple of days ago, Patrick Mahomes said that was talking about Taylor Swift and how Taylor Swift is so great, so outstanding. She's so lovely, and she's drawing up plays
That's the
for the
thing.
Kansas City Chiefs
I can't.
because she has
This is where we're at in football, boys. But go ahead. Keep going. I can't.
she is open to learning the game and learning the X's and O's. So the question I have for you, Ron, in this segment is, give me your honest opinion. Will Andy Reid use any of Taylor Swift's plays?
It's a
Look at his
thing.
face.
Ron, this is a real thing.
Look at
He's
his
not
face.
kidding.
I am not joking.
They made Taylor Swift has made offensive plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. They said she made
I look
plays.
at this.
They
Yes.
have plays now that are designed by Taylor Swift.
Yep.
This is where we're at. This is the reason why. I don't even want you to answer, Ron. You know what I'm going to tell you? This is the reason why the entire football fans in the world need to hope that the Kansas City Chiefs don't win it again. Because you know, if they do win it again, all we're going to hear about, well, Taylor Swift called that last play to win the Super Bowl. I am going to lose my ever-loving mind.
I can't.
That's what's going to happen. We called that the
Hey,
Taylor
Patricio,
Swift
it is
sweep.
the NFL is a mockery right now. I mean, this just takes the cake, right?
This is where we're at.
Like, eh, I mean, I could understand if it was like Carolina or New England
Taylor
or
Swift.
Arizona or the Giants,
No, Taylor Swift.
but the day I'm a head coach and I take a play idea from Taylor Swift,
It's already been done.
will be the day that I hang myself.
It's already done. It's already done. Andy Reid already got plays for Taylor Swift. Phenomenal question, Kenny. That was great. That was great. All right.
That right there makes me take Andy Reid out of the topic of
Top coaches ever. All right, let's talk. We got to move. We got to move here, gentlemen.
Yes.
AFC North. This is probably the best division in football. That's my opinion. Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns. Ron, you hit it, right? We talked the Steelers, and you have to look at what Mike Tomlin's been able to do consistently throughout his career there. They don't lose many games. Like they're always over 500. Baltimore,
going to be this year too,
right? Baltimore, this is so close last year. Do they make the next jump? Bengals, you get back Joe Burrow fully healthy. Jamar Chase, I guess, is practicing now. So guess what we get to see Sunday? Congratulations to New England. We don't even get that as a saving grace to say, oh, they don't have their best wide receiver. And then Cleveland, that's probably the one big question mark, Deshaun Watson. So out of these four teams, gentlemen, what do you think? What do you see? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I think all four teams are going to have a winning record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All four. And it's going to be a dogfight right to the end.
Yeah.
I love these teams in this division. I mean, they're going to be tough. You know, it's going to be a war, and unfortunately, probably two of the teams are going to lose that war and knock themselves out of it because all these teams are fantastic. And when you look at first Cleveland, look at what they did last year, right? I mean, their running game, I mean, everything about this team. But they have a lot of injuries. And
does
that
Chubb
is
come
what
back?
is going to, that is what could actually be the demise of Cleveland. If they were healthy, I would say Cleveland could be in. I would say 3 teams would come out of this division, but because of those injuries, I'm not sure that they're going to be enough to get one.
Yeah, right. And then listen, we don't know the quarterback play in Pittsburgh. That's going to be an interesting dynamic, right?
Right.
How long do they stick with Russell Wilson? Plays well, they stick with him. They don't. You start to hear the chirping. Justin Fields, Mike Tomlin hasn't had to deal with that,
Yeah.
right? Like he's
I'm
pretty
not
much
sure he's got
right.
That's going to be a tough time.
That's going to be a tough one. Bengals health. You talked about it, right? Joe Burrow. How important is a player to a team? They are a 11-12 win team with Burrow. They're a 7 or 8 win team without him.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You need
that
Burrow.
Defense is going to be better. So this team, if he stays healthy, this team is a contender.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, I'm going to say it right now.
Baltimore.
Ravens, one of my favorites in the I'm not obviously going to give our picks, but I think that the addition of Derrick Henry just made that team almost unbeatable because you can run with Lamar, you can run with Henry, but then you can still throw at Lamar. So it's like you've added all these elements that make that offense so dynamic, and they're a very good defense, period. So that's going to be a fun division. Let's move on to the AFC South. Another fun division, though, but maybe in a different type of way because there's so many question marks here. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, right? Got paid. Is he the real deal? Or Mac Jones come in and step in? I know Ron wants, right, would love that. Tennessee Titans, a lot of change, right? New coach there, Brian Callahan. Houston Texans, everybody wants to put at the top of the, right off the bat, but does CJ Stroud have a sophomore slump, which has happened in the past with some of these guys now that there's a lot of tape on them and they can figure some things out? And the Colts, is Richardson for real? Like, can that kid stay healthy too at quarterback, Anthony Richardson, and be the difference maker?
Yeah, that's a big question. I think that's the biggest question out of every team in this division is, can Richardson stay healthy? And can he show the promise that he did last year? I think he takes the step back as a sophomore slump, and I don't see Indianapolis being able to make the playoffs this year. They're going to be decent. They're going to be able to stay competitive, but I think they're going to be on the losing end of those close games. And Tennessee, I think, is just going to come in last. I don't see Tennessee doing anything this year. And it's going to come down to Jacksonville and Houston to me. I think Houston is still going to be that much better because they improved, on the players on their roster from last year.
Yeah, they added a good chunk on the offensive side.
And good.
Joe Mixon,
and good players in the draft.
Yeah, right. Mixon was a big pickup for them. Stephon Diggs, right? What he brings.
Yes.
I mean, right, and huge.
Nico Collins and Tank Dell, they've got some weapons on offense. I agree, but again, I don't know if you put, like, I like CJ Stroud, and this isn't a a negative on him, but I would say that you could question. Sometimes teams just don't know who you are, and then when they start to get enough film and start to see things, that it makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
And again, Trevor Lawrence is such an, I don't know, like I think he's good. I don't know if he's that good. It's a weird division. It's so hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I want to go Houston, but then I say Jacksonville has some talent. I don't know.
I think
Colts
Jacksonville
could be fun.
Is going to do okay. I still don't see them making the playoffs. It's going to be close. I mean, they could. I got it really between 3 teams to get that final spot. And, Jacksonville, Cleveland, and the Jets are the teams that I think could get there.
Yeah, I agree. All right. AFC West, gentlemen. Denver Broncos, rookie quarterback. Is it the right call? Bo Nix. Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, new coach. Everybody wants to put him on this pedestal. They lost a ton of talent. Las Vegas Raiders, Antonio Pierce gets his crack to be the head coach there. And then obviously the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. What do we like about this division?
Kansas City.
Right? I don't.
Chargers coming second by default.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Chargers," and you lose what? Keenan Allen. You lose who's right? They lost some players.
Yeah.
So as good as we think they could be, you got to start questioning the talent and depth level of what they have as well.
I don't even understand why they lost. All these players. I mean, they didn't go out and sign anybody to eat up that salary cap. So I think it was just let's cut a bunch of players and figure out what we'll need this year, and then next year go for it. I mean, that to me seems like what he's doing.
Yeah, he's going to build a line. He's going to try to, get picked up Gus Edwards, the running back, because he wants to be able to run the ball. I think he's going to try to build a line, work that defense in, and then go from there.
Scare you?
No, I think it depends on the style. If they're going to heavy run dominant team, you need a big back. He's a bigger back. I think that's what they're trying to do. They need a year or two before you'll see this thing really mature into something better. And again, I think Kansas City's still the cream of the crop. They're going to rise to the top. I think the Raiders take a step back. Just don't have a quarterback.
Who's the Raiders quarterback?
O'Connell. Is that the kid's name? Aiden O'Connell, right?
Yeah. That's
he's a
powerhouse.
No, they got that's right, Gardner Minshew. They named him the stud. I forgot about that.
The stash. Oh, well, that might bring them up to third place. Who knows?
Yeah, no, right. So it'll be interesting.
Not really. Not in that division. It's all Kansas City. It's the only team that's going to even come close to making it. Agreed. So, gentlemen, that is the divisions. We're going to pick some picks here. We're going to start in the AFC. That's what you want to do? Sure.
I don't know. Your graphic. Sure. You want to put up your AFC? Seven teams that are going to make the playoffs. And then if you want to go, we'll do the NFC 7 teams, and then we'll go through the playoffs.
Okay.
All right. Sounds AFC. Whoever wants to start. 1 through 7.
First. I got Baltimore number 1.
Oh.
I've got Kansas City number 2.
Okay.
I've got Houston as the 3rd seed. And Miami as the 4th seed.
Oh.
I have Cincinnati number 5, the first wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, I have Buffalo making the wild card.
Okay.
And I have the Jets making the wild card.
Okay. So I have very similar, Ron, other than I don't have the Jets making the playoffs. But I have Baltimore as my 1 seed. Number 2, Miami, my 2 seed. I think they get more wins than people think. Kansas City 3, Houston 4, Cincinnati 5. Indianapolis creeps in at 6, and Buffalo at 7. So they still get in Buffalo, but Kansas City, Baltimore, Houston, Buffalo, Browns, Jets, Miami. Okay, he's got the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
James has the Jets. No picks there, 1 through 7. Okay. All right, NFC, Ron. I'll go first this time.
Okay.
Philadelphia, number 1. San Francisco, number 2. Green Bay, 3. Atlanta, 4. Detroit, 5. Dallas, 6. Los Angeles Rams get in on the final wild card at 7.
I will tell you, we have the exact teams.
Right
I have Philly 1, San Francisco 2. I have Detroit
there.
number
Yep.
3,
Yeah, I could
Mhm.
flip those.
Atlanta 4, and
Mhm.
then I have Dallas, Green Bay, LA Rams.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the teams are set. AFC, Ron, first round. I got number 2, Miami versus number 7, Buffalo. Dolphins win. 3 versus 6, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Kansas City. 4 versus 5, Houston, Cincinnati. That's going to be a fun game. Cincinnati.
All right. So obviously Baltimore gets the first
Get the
seed,
bye.
right?
Yep,
So,
they're off. They're off.
So Kansas City, I have going against the Jets. I have Kansas City winning. I have Houston playing Buffalo. I have Houston winning. And I have Miami and Cincinnati playing, and I have Cincinnati winning.
Okay. All right. So that
So
gets
Baltimore,
us to
KC, Houston, Cincy.
this gets us to the divisions. AFC divisional round. Number 1, Baltimore plays number 5, Cincinnati. I have the Ravens. 2, Miami playing number 3, Kansas City. Kansas City. Which means my AFC championship game is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Ron,
It's a good one. That's a good one.
a rematch.
I have Baltimore and Cincy playing. I have Cincinnati winning.
Oof. Okay.
I have Cincinnati winning, and it's because of their performance last year as well.
Okay.
I didn't really like Baltimore's performance in the playoffs, and I think Joe Burrow rises to the occasion. Kansas City and Houston plays. I have Houston.
Wow.
Houston,
You
we
got,
have liftoff.
so you have Cincinnati, Houston in the AFC championship game.
I do.
My winner to represent the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens. They will defeat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC championship game.
I'm talking about.
All right. Kenny, do you have an AFC championship or just Super Bowl?
Just Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have Cincinnati beating Houston. Going to the Super Bowl is Cincinnati.
Okay. All right. NFC. I got Philadelphia with the bye, number 1 seed, which means 2 versus 7 is San Francisco versus the Rams.
Yep.
I got the 49ers beating the Rams.
I do too.
3-6. I got Green Bay, Dallas. It's another rematch. Green Bay once again beats Dallas. And then my 4-5 matchup, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Detroit Lions. Lions win that game.
All right. So obviously the San Francisco Rams are the same. I have Detroit playing Green Bay. I have Detroit winning that. And then I have Atlanta and Dallas playing. And Dallas should have thought of this in the beginning and tried to get home field advantage, and they did not. And Atlanta defeats Dallas.
Oof. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So in the NFC divisional round, I have the number 1 seed Philadelphia Eagles facing the Detroit Lions. Bad matchup for the Lions, again being the 5th seed, so I have Philadelphia winning that match. 2 versus 3, San Francisco, Green Bay. San Francisco, way too talented, beats Green Bay, which means my NFC championship game is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the San Francisco 49ers.
All right. So I've got Philadelphia playing Atlanta. Philadelphia rolls through. and gets to the conference finals. Then I have San Francisco and Detroit playing, and I have San Francisco winning that
So
one.
we have the same NFC championship again. All right. All right. Which means NFC championship for both of us is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the San Francisco 49ers. I have Nick Sirianni figuring it out and beating the San Francisco 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, to represent the NFC.
I also have that as well.
So you
I
have
have
Philadelphia going.
San Francisco debacle again, and Philly is going up against Cincinnati for me.
Okay. Kenny, your Super Bowl teams.
Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. You know I'm gonna go with the Lions all the way.
Okay. So the Lions
You know, I'm go-
in the
Lions all
Super
way.
Bowl versus who?
Yeah.
Do you have them beating another team or do you just picking the Lions?
I'm just picking the Lions.
All right. So Kenny's got the Lions. Ron?
You're lying.
That was a good one.
Dark.
No.
I just figured it
They
out.
have to play somebody.
Who do you got? So Cincinnati versus the Eagles, Ron.
Yeah, I got Philadelphia winning.
Ooh. Which would be a first because both of those quarterbacks have lost their first Super Bowl, which means that the trend breaks.
Right. The trend will break. And I just think Philadelphia just has way too much. And, I'm sure Cincinnati will have some hobbling quarterback by then.
Yeah.
So,
I
just think Philly is a little too much for somebody to overcome.
Okay. I got Baltimore versus the Eagles. It's Lamar Jackson's time. The Baltimore Ravens win. They beat the Eagles, and he gets he finally gets to his Super Bowl victory. I like that Derrick Henry pick. That's such a big pickup for me.
It is. And, when you think about the quarterbacks in this league right now, somebody new has to get a Super Bowl,
a ring.
right?
I think it's time.
When you talk about players like Allen Jackson, not Alan Jackson, but Allen and Jackson.
The country singer? It's like, wow, look at him.
Right.
Hey,
and, and Hurts, and you throw in all the, even Dak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent that hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's been all about like Mahomes and Brady, for decades. And
nobody have Casey on a three-peat. Nope. No three-peat for any of us.
Nope.
Three-peat. No three-peat. All right, Ron, did you want to do the quick MVPs? And then we can move on or end this bad boy?
Absolutely. I think we should do, first of all, the regular season MVP.
So our picks for the regular season MVP.
Yeah, who you think that?
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here because I don't think the Buffalo Bills should even be in the playoffs. But Josh Allen is going to be the reason why they at least make the 7th seed on my picks, which puts him as the top contender for the MVP. I go Josh Allen, MVP of the NFL this upcoming season.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. I can see that. I'm going Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joe Burrow is going to have a monster year. I think a lot of players on that team are going to be looking for some contracts, and I think he's gonna bust out.
Name one. Name one player that's looking for a contract on the Bengals.
Right.
Do you have an MVP?
Everybody.
I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, all right. And he wins a Super Bowl. That's my pick. All right. Super Bowl MVP, Ron? Did you said you wanted to pick a Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah, and it's going to come down to whoever we chose, obviously. So I am going to go with Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to rise to the occasion, and I would say it usually goes to a quarterback. I mean, I could see it going to a running back in that case, but I'm going to go Hurts.
See, I'm gonna buck the trend as well. I'm going running back. Derrick Henry will be the reason. He's going to be that Terrell Davis moment of winning the Super Bowl for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm going Derrick Henry in the Super Bowl as an MVP.
Wow.
You got
It's
a
a good
Detroit
choice.
Lion?
I almost wanted to go with, Barkley, but
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteed he can stay healthy.
Yeah, good call. We going Goff?
Yeah, I'm going Jared Goff,
Oh, come
baby. I'm going
on,
Jared
buddy.
Goff, baby.
Jared Goff.
21 touchdowns this year.
Oh, see, I would have went defense with Detroit.
I'm going Dan Campbell if he don't screw up a fourth. I would have just given it to him. Super Bowl MVP. Hey, it's a fourth down. They punted. MVP.
Yeah.
MVP. I hope you enjoyed the show. This has been the Sports Unfolded NFL preview show. James, thank you for joining. You're amazing. Yes, no 3P for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you like what you watch, join us every Friday night live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, where we do our regular show. We cover all of the main sports topics going on in the world today. So a lot that we cover. We have some fun. Thank you, James. It has been a fun show. Try to do something a little different this time, right? We're not, not a snooze fest. We're going to bring it to you fast. So stay tuned. NBA, NHL preview shows, probably going to be very similar. Let's have some fun, gentlemen. Listen, we're going to have a fun NFL season. Look forward to it. Thursday night kickoff. What a matchup to begin. Baltimore, Kansas City. God. Right? That is going to be insane. And then it's the Eagles and Packers on Friday.
Yeah.
Right? So all playoff contenders. So it's going to be fun.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy weekend.
Fun weekend. Then Cincinnati, New England. No. Okay. So, gentlemen, we will get to see you again Friday, 6 p.m. Appreciate the big dog. Always. My main man, Ron. James, again, thanks for joining us live. Like, share, follow of our shows on our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, MeWe. We're on everything. Join us there. Patreon, if you want some Sports Unfolded merch, you get your Sports Unfolded merch as well there. We will see you again Friday, as I said, and all we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.